Alrighty, we're going to do some standing stuff to start. So come to the top of your mat, arms facing forward, relax your shoulders back, unlock your knees, and just take a nice deep breath in and out. And then breathe in, take the arms up, and breathe out as you fold forward. Breathe in as you flatten out your back. And then breathe out as you fold forward. And then slowly roll back up again. And reach your arms up. And then you're going to turn to the left and lower your arms down to shoulder height, just in that twist. So turn your left palm, open it out, looking back. And then bring the arms up together again. And then twist to the other side. So palms facing forwards, looking back at that right arm. And then bring those arms up. And then folding forward again. And flattening out the back. So you can take hands to shin. And then fold forward, plant your hands down. And step your left leg back so that you're in low lunge, dropping your knee down. Flattening out the toes. And then lift the arms up. And then take those hands down. Curl your toes, lift that back knee, and then again step your feet together so you're back to forward fold. And then breathing in, take those arms back up. And folding forward again. Flattening out that back. Bend the knees and then plant your hands down, stepping your right leg back and dropping the knee down into the low lunge, flattening out the back toes and then lifting up again. In that little hip stretch. And then taking those hands back down, curl the toes back under, knee up, and then again step your feet together. And then coming into flat back again. And then fold forward again, plant your hands down and step both feet back into your high plank, your push-up position. And then drop your knees down, flatten your toes and lower your chest all the way down. And just a little cobra, lifting the chest slightly. And then lowering back down. And then pressing back up onto the hands and knees, curling the toes under and pushing up into a down dog. And then we're going to step or walk your feet in. Flattening out the back again. Bending the knees. And then lifting the chest and lifting the arms up, cactus arms into chair pose. Squeeze those shoulder blades back. And then reaching up, straightening out the legs, little back bend. And then fold forward again. And plant your hands down and step back into lunge. Sorry, left leg back into your lunge. You can drop your knee down if you like. And then stepping your right leg back up into three-legged dog. And then bringing your right leg through, bring your knee, right knee, to behind the left elbow. And so I'm putting my knee down. All right, so you can either stay there and then you can open up here, or you can actually go into fallen triangle, which is where you bring your left leg, so right leg through and then lift up. So you've got the choice, have your knee down or you can have it up. And then bring that hand down and then step back into your down dog position. And then taking your left leg up in the air, three-legged dog. And then you're going to bring your left knee behind that right wrist and then open up, or you're going to bring that leg through into that fallen triangle and then open up. So the hips are up. And then bring that right hand down and then step back into your down dog. And then stepping your right foot forward in between your hands or help it through. Drop your left foot down onto the ankle as you come up into warrior two. And then straighten out your right leg and reach forward and then bring your left arm over, and you might have it straight up, or see if you can reach it over as if you were like grabbing hold of a big beach ball. And then lift both arms back up. And then turn your body forwards, turning your back heel, bend your right knee, place your hands back down on either side and step back into high plank. All right, so we're going to do up dog into down dog. So you can either drop your knees down, all right, you are lowering your chest halfway and then scoop it through and lift the chest into the up dog and then back to your down dog. And then come to high plank. You can drop to your knees here. We're going to turn into a side plank. All right, so we're going to lift the left arm up. So remember, you can always drop your bottom knee down, or you can have both knees down into that side plank, or you can have feet up. And now if you've got both feet up, bring that bottom knee down and then see if you can turn and reach back. And then come back over and then press back up into your down dog. And then we're stepping our left foot through in between the hands. So remember, you can have your knee down if you like. And then we're coming up, we're dropping that right knee down, sorry, right foot down, and then coming up into that warrior two. And then straightening out that left leg. And then reaching forward, take your right arm up, turn your left palm up, and then maybe go a little bit further, bringing that right arm over to grab hold of that big beach ball. And then take the arms up. And then bend that knee again, turn forwards, plant those hands down, and then step back into your high plank position as we then go into our side plank on the other side. So we're going to turn our body to the right, open up. Remember, knee down if you want, or both knees. So if you've got your knees off now, we're going to plant that left knee down and then see if you can open up the chest and reach back a little bit. And then come forward, back over onto the hands and knees. And then into your high plank position, push back to your down dog. And then walk your feet towards your hands. So just hanging here in ragdoll now. And just turning yourself around to the left side. And then around to the right side. Back to the front. Lots of bend in those knees as you then slowly roll back up again. And roll those shoulders around. Good. All right, so a bit of balance. Picking up your right knee. You can bring your hands into prayer. And we're going to extend that right leg straight back now. So we've got hands in at the chest. Lean forwards. Take your right leg back, toes pointing down. Now, if you've got the couch here, you can take your hands onto the couch and then try and lean forwards. You can take your hands down to the ground so you're in like a standing split position. Lift that back leg right up. And then we're going to plant the right leg back down. So we're back into our lunge position. And then again, drop that right heel down onto the angle as we open back to warrior two. And then we're going to tip over into half moon. So again, if you want, you can use the couch. So we're going to bring this right leg in or step straight off and come over. Then you place your hand on that couch and open up your chest and lean over. Or obviously you can not use the couch, but you want to try and open up that chest and get right side on. Remember, as if you were in the toaster or back flat against the wall. And then we're going to step back into our warrior two. And then turn our toes forwards. Although I'm going to turn around and face you guys though. So we've got both in a wide forward, wide leg, and then clasp your hands behind, pull away, and then you can bow forward into your forward fold, taking your arms up over your head, getting that extra nice shoulder stretch. If that's too much, just take your arms down, place your hands down towards the ground. And then release your arms if you had hold of them. And then we're going to bend our left knee, lift your chest halfway. So you might stay up here into your little side lunge, or if you want, you can lower right down into your Skandasana. And then we're going to come back up. And we're going to turn to the right, turn the feet around, back to our low lunge. Flatten your hand down, and then stepping back into a down dog. Flat your hands down. And then we're going to walk our feet back in again. Flattening out that back. And then folding forward. And then from here, this time, we're going to cross our right foot over our left. And then bring it back, and then cross the left over the right. And then uncross, and then bend the knees as we slowly roll back up again. And the shoulders. Good. All right, so now we're going to do the other side. So lifting your left knee, taking those hands back to prayer, and then extending your left leg back. All right, straighten out the legs, toes pointing down. And then again, you can either grab hold of that couch or take your hands down to the ground if you can. Like that, we want that back leg right up, nice and high. And then we're stepping that left leg back into our low lunge. And then dropping that left heel down on the angle as we come back up into that warrior two for the second time. And then we're going to tip over into our half moon. So either step your left leg in, or you can step off and come into that floating half moon, or if you got that couch you can use, all right, or the ground. All right, and then stepping back into our warrior two, and then turning our toes forward again. So we're going to go into that forward fold. Ooh. So let's clasp those hands behind again. Pull them away. And then if you want, bow forward again. Bringing those arms again over the head. And then release the arms down. And then lifting up halfway. And then bending your right knee, maybe lifting and coming up. Or if you want, then coming down low into that Skandasana. Otherwise, just stay up high. Good. And then making our way back up into our warrior 2, and then turning to the front, coming down into that low lunge, and then stepping back into your down dog. And then dropping the knees down, and then sitting back into child's pose. And then coming back up onto the hands and knees, and then taking a seat. And crossing your legs with your right leg in front. Now you can either have that right leg in front or you can stack it on top. And then we're twisting to the right. And then coming forwards. And then pressing back up and swapping the legs over. Left leg in front or on top. And then twisting to the left. And then to the front. And then coming back up and undoing the legs, and then coming over onto your stomach. All right, so we're going into half bow. So bend your left leg. So you've got two choices here. You can either grab with your left hand or you can grab with your right hand. All right, so whichever one you choose to do, and then see if you can lift up and lift that leg. And then release, and then swap it over. Let's see if you can grab hold first, and then see if you can lift. And then release it down. And just bring your elbows underneath your shoulders, palms down, and just lift into Sphinx pose. And then release it back down. All right, so we're going to reach our left arm forwards, and then our right arm is going to reach underneath. All right, so it's going to reach right across us towards the left side. And then you're going to rest your chin on your right shoulder. And then coming up, bring that right arm out, and then reach your right arm forwards, and then take your left arm underneath and slide it across to the right side. And then rest your chin on your left shoulder. And then gently put that arm back out. It's up to me. And then pressing back up again onto the hands and knees. And taking your right arm up, just reach up, opening up. And back down. Other side. And back down. And then taking a seat with your legs wide. And then just leaning over to the right side. Left arm up, right arm reaches towards the toes. So we want to keep that chest open, okay? So don't close, keep it open. We also want that left sit bone down. And then tip over to the other side. And back to the middle and reach forwards. Try and keep those toes up and active. And then coming up, bring those legs together. And take your hands back behind you. So you can have your hands whichever way suits you. I like to have mine away so that I'm opening up my shoulders. And then bend your knees. We're going to lift up into a tabletop. So lift up. And then back down. And then hug those knees into the chest as you roll back. And then going into happy baby. Grab hold of those feet and then pull the knees to the armpits. And then press your lower back down. Maybe rocking side to side. And then lower those feet down. And then just lifting up those hips into your bridge, coming up high onto your shoulders. And then slowly coming back down again. And then just let those knees fall in together. Just let everything relax for a second. And then take a nice deep breath in. Hold. And then exhale. And then again, big breath in. Hold. And then exhale through your mouth. And then breathe normal. And then whenever you're ready, and then make your way back up to a seated position. Otherwise, you can stay there for a little bit if you like. Anyway,